The strange auction. The auction hall was loud, filled with strange smells and voices from many worlds. Humans and aliens pushed against each other, shouting, laughing, making deals. Ships, weapons, machines, and even rare creatures were all for sale. In the middle of the noise stood one man. His name was Daniel. He was not rich, not powerful, just a wanderer who wanted a ship of his own. He had worked for years, saved every coin, and now he was ready to buy something that could carry him across the stars. The auctioneer, a tall alien with 4 eyes, shouted about the next item. Old cargo vessel, long history, strong hull, low price. The crowd didn't care. The ship looked old and rusty. Broken lights flickered on its side. To many it was worthless, but Daniel felt something strange the moment he saw it. It was not the size, not the design, but a pull deep inside him, like the ship was calling to him. He laughed at the idea, but the feeling didn't go away. The bidding started. Most ignored the ship. A few threw in small numbers. Daniel raised his hand. His heart beat faster. He didn't even know why. Another buyer raised the bid. Daniel answered quickly. His chest burned with a strange fire. The auctioneer banged the hammer. Sold to the human. The crowd barely looked at him. Some laughed, others shook their heads. Daniel didn't care. He had won. He now owned a ship. He walked to the docking bay where the vessel waited. Up close it looked worse. Scratches along the hull, panels missing, a faint hum like the ship was sighing. Still, he placed his hand on the cold metal. For a second he thought he felt it move, like it was alive. Daniel shook his head and entered. The air was stale, lights dim. The corridors seemed too quiet. His footsteps echoed like whispers. He told himself it was just an old machine, nothing more. Yet his skin crawled. He moved through the halls, searching. Every corner looked abandoned, but the deeper he went, the more he felt watched. As if invisible eyes followed him. He reached the control room, wiped dust from the panels, and sat in the captain's chair. Then it happened. A soft voice, clear but not from the speakers, whispered, "You finally came." Daniel jumped, spinning around. Nobody was there, only silence. He called out, "Who's there?" No answer, just the faint hum of the ship. He stood to leave, but a panel on the side wall slid open with a hiss. He froze. Behind it was a hidden chamber, dimly lit, and inside stood someone he never expected. It was a woman, not human. Her skin shimmered faint silver, her eyes glowed softly in the dark. She looked young, fragile, but there was strength in the way she stood. She stepped forward, her gaze fixed only on him. Daniel's breath caught. "Who are you?" he asked. The woman tilted her head, her lips curved in a small smile. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. "I am yours now." The words echoed in the silent room. Daniel felt his chest tighten. He had come here only to buy a ship, but what he had just found was something far stranger, far more dangerous, hook ending. The ship was his, but so was she, and he had no idea what that truly meant.
The unexpected passenger. Daniel stared at the alien woman in shock. He had expected rust, broken wires, maybe rats crawling in the corners, but not her. She stood so calm, as if she had been waiting for him. Her eyes glowed like soft stars. Her silver skin shimmered even in the dim light. She was not like any alien he had seen before, not reptilian, not insect-like, not machine-like. She looked almost human, only more fragile, more unreal. Daniel's voice shook. "What do you mean you are mine?" The woman tilted her head, her smile small but certain. "You bought the ship, and with it, you claimed me. That is the law of the vessel. I belong to you now." Daniel's heart thumped hard. He stepped back, his hands raised. Wait, I didn't sign up for this. I only wanted a ship. I don't own people, not humans, not aliens." She moved closer, her bare feet silent against the floor. "You don't understand. You cannot separate me from this ship. I am its keeper, its prisoner, its heart. When you claimed the vessel, you bound yourself to me, and I to you." Her words pressed against him heavier than chains. Daniel shook his head. "This is insane. No one told me this." The auctioneer said nothing. This can't be real." The woman's glowing eyes softened. "You feel it, don't you? That strange pull inside you. That is the bond. You heard my voice before you saw me. That means the ship already accepted you." Daniel froze, remembering the whisper in the control room, the hum he thought was alive. Could it really be true? He didn't want to believe it, but his gut twisted with unease. She raised her hand, slowly, carefully, like she feared he might run. When her fingers touched the control panel, the dead screens lit up at once, glowing bright. The ship hummed as if waking from a long sleep. Daniel's mouth went dry. He had pressed every switch minutes ago and nothing happened. But with her touch, everything obeyed. She turned back to him. See? Alone, I cannot control it. Alone, you cannot control it. But together, we can command it. That is why the ship brought you to me. Daniel's legs felt weak. He sat back in the captain's chair, running his hands through his hair. So what? I'm stuck with you now. I can't just walk away. The woman's smile faded, her eyes lowered. If you leave, both of us will die. The bond is not just a chain, it is life itself. If one breaks it, the other fades. That is the price of this ship, that is the fate you chose. Daniel cursed under his breath. He had only wanted freedom, a chance to travel the stars on his own terms. Instead he had gained a stranger who claimed to belong to him, a ship that was half alive. And a bond he never asked for. The woman stepped closer again, softer this time. Her voice almost a whisper. You do not need to fear me, I will not harm you. I waited for you a long time, and now, finally, you are here. Her words were calm, but Daniel's skin tingled. He didn't know if she was friend or trap, gift or curse. He looked at her closely, her glowing eyes, her silver skin, the strange quiet strength she carried, and deep inside he wondered. Had he just bought his greatest fortune, or his doom? Hook ending. She was not just a passenger, she was tied to him, and the ship, and maybe his future, and Daniel had no choice but to face it.
The ship's secret. Daniel sat in the captain's chair, staring at the glowing screens. His heart still raced from the alien woman's words. She claimed she was bound to him, tied to the ship itself. It sounded like madness, yet the proof glimmered all around him. The ship was no longer dead. The lights hummed gently, the panels flickered with energy, and the engines purred like some great beast waiting for orders. And none of it had happened until she touched the console. He leaned forward, his voice sharp. Tell me the truth. What is this ship really? Why were you hidden inside it? Why me? The woman stood tall in the dim glow, her silver skin catching the light. Her eyes shimmered as if holding memories older than time. This ship is not just a machine, it is alive. It was made long ago by my people, but they lost control of it. For centuries it has drifted, waiting, searching for the right bond, and now it has chosen you. Daniel felt his throat tighten. Alive? A ship alive? He wanted to laugh, but the hum beneath his feet felt like a heartbeat, steady and strong. He shook his head. You're saying this thing is some kind of creature? That doesn't make sense. Her gaze never wavered. It makes sense when you feel it, don't you already? The pull, the strange weight in your chest, that is the connection. The ship accepts only one master in a lifetime, and it chose you. That is why you found me. Daniel rose from the chair, pacing across the room. Why me? I'm no warrior, no leader. I'm just ordinary. The woman's lips curved in a faint, sad smile. Perhaps that is why. Sometimes the extraordinary hides in the ordinary, and the ship sees what others cannot. Her words made his stomach twist. He didn't want to believe them, but he couldn't shake the truth in her calm tone. The ship had responded to him and her together. Daniel moved toward the corridor. Show me more. If this ship is alive, then I want to see it with my own eyes. She followed without a sound, guiding him deeper through the vessel. The air grew warmer. The walls glowed faintly, as if the ship itself recognized their steps. Daniel reached out and brushed his hand against the metal, and for a moment, he swore he felt it pulse. Finally, they entered a chamber unlike the rest. Smooth walls curved in strange shapes. Lines of light ran through them like veins. In the center stood a crystal core, faintly glowing. The woman stepped close, her voice reverent. This is the heart. It is where the ship breathes, where its mind rests. I was bound here as its guardian, until the chosen one arrived. Daniel's eyes widened. He could almost hear a whisper inside the chamber, not words, but a sound that stirred in his bones. He took a step closer, his hand trembling. It's alive, he whispered. The woman nodded. Yes, and now it lives through us. Alone, I could not wake it. Alone, you could not command it. Together, we are its voice, its will, its power. Daniel's head spun. He had dreamed of owning a ship, of freedom in the stars, but not this. Not a vessel that thought, breathed, and bound itself to him. He turned sharply toward her, his eyes narrowed. And what happens if I walk away? What happens if I refuse this bond? For the first time, sorrow filled her glowing eyes. Then the ship will die, and so will I. And a part of you too. Because the bond is sealed. You cannot undo what has begun. Daniel's chest grew heavy. He wanted to deny it, to run, but he knew deep inside the truth. He was already tied to the ship, to her, to something far bigger than himself. Hook ending. In the silence of the glowing chamber, Daniel realized he hadn't just bought a ship. He had stepped into a living mystery, one that would never let him go.
The bond awakens. Daniel could not sleep that night. He sat in the captain's chair staring at the endless stars outside the viewport. The ship floated silent, almost peaceful, but inside his chest was only confusion. The alien woman had not left his side. She moved quietly around the room, her silver skin glowing faintly under the ship's soft lights. Her presence felt calm yet heavy, like she carried a truth too large for him to grasp. Finally, he broke the silence. If this bond is real, if the ship lives through us, then why me? Why not someone else stronger, smarter, richer? She stepped closer, her glowing eyes steady, because the ship chooses not with logic, but with heart. It saw something in you, something even you do not see. Daniel laughed bitterly. Heart? I'm just a man who wanted a cheap ship, that's it, nothing more. The woman shook her head slowly. You touched the vessel and it answered. Do you not feel it? Every beat inside you now echoes with its pulse. You cannot deny what you already know. Daniel fell silent. He could feel it, the hum beneath his skin, the strange warmth in his chest when she spoke. It was as if the ship's life had crawled into him, binding them together. She raised her hand and touched the control panel. Let me show you. The screens lit instantly, brighter than before. The engines stirred with a deep roar. The entire vessel vibrated as if waking fully. She looked at him and nodded. Now you, place your hand here. Daniel hesitated, but slowly pressed his palm beside hers. A sudden rush of energy surged through him. His veins felt like fire. His breath caught in his throat. The lights flared across the ship and the core deep inside pulsed in perfect rhythm with his heart. The woman's voice was soft but certain. Do you feel it now? Alone, I cannot command it. Alone, you cannot awaken it. But together, we bring it alive. Daniel gasped, pulling his hand back. His body shook, sweat on his forehead. This is impossible. This isn't real. Machines don't live, ships don't breathe. But even as he spoke, he knew the truth. The ship was alive, and so was the bond between them. The woman stepped close, her voice almost a whisper. You are its master now, and I am yours. We are bound in fate. If you reject me, if you reject the ship, we all fall. But if you accept, then together, nothing can break us. Daniel stared at her, his mind spinning. He saw no fear in her eyes, only trust. He had met many people in his life, yet no one had ever looked at him like that, like he was more than he believed. He turned to the viewport again, the stars endless and wide. His old dream had been simple, own a ship, travel free, live without chains. But now he realized freedom was gone, replaced by something far greater, something heavier. His voice trembled. So this bond, it's not just a chain, it's life and death. She nodded, her silver hair brushing her shoulders. Yes, and it is power too. Together we can shape the ship, we can face what is coming. Daniel frowned. What's coming? Her eyes darkened, glowing with a strange warning. The ones who imprison me will learn I am awake again. They will not stop until they take the ship, until they take me, until they destroy you. Daniel's heart sank. He had not only bought a ship, he had bought a war. Hook ending. The bond had awakened, and with it, enemies he could not yet see, and Daniel knew his life would never be the same again. The first attack, the silence of the stars, did not last long. Daniel sat at the controls, his hands resting uneasily on the glowing panels. The bond with the ship still buzzed inside him, a strange fire he could not ignore. Beside him, the alien woman stood calm, her silver skin reflecting the soft light. But calm never lasts. A sudden alarm echoed through the ship, sharp and cold. Red lights flared across the bridge. Daniel jumped to his feet. What is it? He shouted. The woman's eyes narrowed, her glowing gaze fixed on the screen. They have found us. Before Daniel could ask who, the main display lit up with images of 3 dark ships approaching fast, sleek and armed. Their engines burned like fire as they closed in. A chill ran down Daniel's spine. Raiders. The woman shook her head, her voice tight. Hunters, they have chased me for years, they will not stop until they have me, and now you. The ships fired warning shots, beams of light flashing past the hull, shaking the vessel. Daniel grabbed the chair to steady himself. We can't fight them, this ship is broken. She cut him off, her voice firm. Not broken, not if we stand together, trust the bond. Daniel's breath came fast, he wanted to argue, to say this was insane, but the ship itself seemed to respond. Panels lit up with strange symbols, weapons hummed to life, and the core deep inside pulsed louder like a beating heart. The woman stepped closer to him, placing her hand on the console. Put your hand beside mine, do it now. Daniel hesitated only a second, then slammed his palm next to hers. A surge of heat shot through his body, his vision blurred, but suddenly he could feel the ship, the engines, the shields, even the outer hull. It was like his blood had spread into every wall and wire. The enemy ships opened fire, bolts of energy slamming against the shields. The ship shuddered, but Daniel felt the impact inside his chest, as if his body itself had taken the hit. He groaned, they're too strong. The woman's voice rose above the chaos, calm but powerful. Then fight back, the ship listens to you now, command it. Daniel clenched his teeth, sweat dripped down his face. He closed his eyes, focused on the bond, and shouted inside his mind, fire. The ship obeyed, cannons along the hull roared to life. Beams of light shot into the black void. One enemy ship exploded into a ball of flame, the others swerved, dodging, but still pressed the attack. Daniel gasped, his heart pounding like it would tear out of his chest. The woman pressed her hand harder against the console. Do not stop, with me, we can push them back. Together they focused, the ship responded with furious energy, shields flared brighter, weapons struck harder, every movement felt like an extension of their bodies. Daniel felt himself moving with her. Two voices, one command. Another enemy ship caught fire, breaking apart. Only one remained, circling like a predator refusing to give up. It fired one last desperate barrage, shaking the vessel so hard Daniel fell to his knees. The woman cried out, her glow flickering. Daniel pushed himself up, rage burning in him. He slammed his hand against the console and shouted, enough. The ship answered with a final strike, a blazing beam of power that tore through the last attacker. The void fell silent again, broken ships drifting into darkness. Daniel collapsed back in the chair, his chest heaving, his body ached like he had fought with his own fists. He turned to her. We did it, she nodded, but her eyes were troubled. Yes, but this is only the beginning. They know you now. They will not stop, more will come. Daniel swallowed hard, the thrill of victory was already fading, replaced by dread. He had just made his first enemies, and THEY were powerful ones. Hook ending. The first attack was over, but Daniel knew it was only the start of a war he never wanted, and one he could no longer escape. The power within. The wreckage of the raider ship still floated in the darkness, pieces of metal drifting like silent ghosts. Daniel leaned back in the captain's chair, his chest heaving, sweat ran down his face, his hands shook as if he had fought with his own body. The alien woman stood beside him, her silver skin glowing faintly, her eyes were fixed on him, calm but sharp. You felt it, didn't you? She asked softly. Daniel nodded slowly, yes. I felt everything, the ship, the weapons, even the hits we took. It was like the ship and I were the same. It was terrifying. She tilted her head. And yet you fought, and you won. Daniel laughed weakly. I didn't win alone. You were with me. Without you, I'd be dead. For a moment, silence filled the bridge. The hum of the core echoed like a heartbeat. Daniel stared at his hands, still trembling. What is this power? Why does the ship respond to me like that? The woman stepped closer, her eyes glowing brighter. Because the bond is awakening. The more you accept it, the stronger it becomes. This ship was not made to be flown, it was made to be lived. It is not steel and wires, it is life, and it is yours now. Daniel swallowed hard. His dream of freedom among the stars felt so small now. He had wanted a simple vessel, but he had gained something alive, something that made him part of it. He looked at her, his voice low. And you? What are you in all this? Her expression softened. I am its guardian. I was bound to the ship so that no master could ever hold it alone, only together could it awaken. That is why I waited for you. Daniel leaned forward, his voice tense. so this ship has power beyond anything I've seen, and now I'm tied to it, tied to you. But if I lose control, if I make the wrong choice, then what? Her gaze grew serious. Then we both fall, and the ship with us. That is the cost of the bond. But if you learn to trust it, to trust me, then nothing in this galaxy will be able to break us. Daniel turned toward the dark window, stars burning bright against the void. He had never felt so small and yet so heavy with responsibility. For the first time, he realized he was no longer just a man, he was something more. The ship hummed, its lights pulsing faintly as if echoing his thoughts. He felt the rhythm inside his chest. Strong, steady, like a second heartbeat. He closed his eyes and whispered, "It's alive inside me." The woman smiled gently. "Yes, and it will grow stronger, but so will the danger. Already the hunters will send word, already others will come, and you must be ready." Daniel looked at her, confusion in his eyes. Ready for what? Another fight? Her voice lowered, almost a whisper. Not just a fight, a war. The galaxy has waited for this ship to awaken. Some fear it, some desire it, and all of them will come for you. Daniel's stomach tightened. He thought of the raiders who had already died trying to take her. He thought of the bond he could not escape, and the woman who now stood by his side, bound to him. He clenched his fists, determination burning slowly in his chest. "Then I'll be ready. If the ship chose me, if you chose me, then I'll fight, but I'll fight on my own terms." The woman's eyes softened, and for the first time, her voice carried warmth. "You speak like a true captain." The ship pulsed brighter, as if agreeing with her words. Daniel felt its hum in his bones. The bond was no longer just a chain, it was power, power unlike anything he had ever imagined, hook-ending. But deep inside, Daniel wondered if this power was a gift, or a curse waiting to consume him. The truth revealed, the ship drifted in quiet space, its engines hummed low, carrying Daniel and the alien woman far from the broken battlefield. Daniel sat in silence, his thoughts heavy, his body still felt the ache of the fight, but it was not just pain that weighed on him, it was questions, too many questions. He turned toward her. "You keep saying I was chosen, you keep saying the ship waited for me, but why? Why would a living ship care about a human?" The woman sat across from him, her silver skin faintly glowing in the dim light. Her eyes held secrets, and for a moment she said nothing. Then she spoke softly, "Because humans are the only ones who can unlock its full power." Daniel blinked. "Humans? That doesn't make sense. This is alien technology, alien design. Why would it need me?" Her gaze lowered, her voice almost a whisper. "Because long ago, humans were part of it." Daniel froze, his heart thudded inside his chest. "What are you talking about?" She looked back at him, eyes glowing bright. "This ship is older than your records, older than your wars. My people did not build it, we only tried to control it, but the first ones, the ones who created it, they were connected to you." Daniel shook his head. "That's impossible. Humans have only been reaching stars for a few hundred years. This ship looks like it's thousands of years old." Her lips curved in a sad smile. "Exactly. What if your kind was greater once? What if the galaxy erased that truth? What if this ship is the last piece of proof?" Daniel's breath caught, his thoughts raced. Could it be true? Had humanity forgotten something, lost in time? The idea sounded insane, but the bond in his chest whispered otherwise. She stood and moved closer to him, her silver hair brushing her shoulders. "You feel it, don't you? The bond is not strange to you, it feels familiar, like it was always inside you. That is because your kind was meant for it, not mine, not anyone else." Daniel swallowed hard. He remembered the first moment he touched the ship, the strange pull in his heart. It had felt like destiny, and now, her words gave that feeling a terrifying weight. He whispered, "So that's why you were trapped here? Guarding the ship until, me?" She nodded. "Yes, I was bound as its keeper, forced to wait for the chosen one. I saw generations pass, hunters come and go, empires rise and fall, all the while the ship slept, waiting for a human to claim it, and now, after so long, it has awakened with you." Daniel rubbed his forehead, his mind spinning. "So what does this mean? That I'm some kind of savior? That I have to carry the past of my whole species?" Her voice softened. "It means you are not just a man anymore, you are part of something the galaxy has feared for centuries. Some will want to destroy you, others will want to own you, and very few will stand beside you. Daniel clenched his fists. And you? Where do you stand? Her glowing eyes locked with his, steady and unshaken. I stand with you, not because I was forced, not because I was bound, but because you are the one I waited for. I will not leave your side. The ship hummed louder, as if answering her words. Daniel felt the bond pulse stronger in his chest, a mix of fear and strength. He looked out at the endless stars, his jaw tight. Then I'll find the truth. If my kind had something to do with this ship, if we were greater once, then I'll uncover it. No matter who comes for us. Hook ending. The truth had been revealed, but with it came a burden heavier than Daniel ever imagined, and the galaxy was already moving against him. The chase across the stars, the ship's hum filled the silence as Daniel guided it through the dark reaches of space. He could feel the vessel breathing with him, every shift of the engines echoing in his chest. Beside him, the alien woman sat calm, her silver eyes glowing faintly, but there was tension in the air, an unspoken truth. They were no longer safe. On the screen, faint signals blinked, shadows moving in the void. Daniel narrowed his eyes. They're following us, she nodded, her voice quiet but firm. Yes, the hunters spread word quickly. Now many seek us, some want the ship, some want you, none will stop. Daniel gripped the controls tighter. Let them chase, we'll stay ahead. But even as he spoke, more signals appeared, 3, then 5, then 7, forming a trail across the stars. They were being hunted from all directions. The galaxy had smelled blood. The woman turned to him, her expression calm but heavy. You must learn to move with the bond, to fly not with your hands, but with your will. The ship will carry us faster if you let it. Daniel frowned. With my will? I'm no pilot of thoughts, I fly with controls. She shook her head slowly. Not anymore. Close your eyes, feel the bond. The ship is not steel, it is part of you. Trust it, and it will guide us through the chase. Daniel hesitated, but the signals were closing fast. He clenched his jaw, shut his eyes, and pressed his hand against the console. At once, warmth rushed through him. The hum of the engines grew louder, and in his mind he felt a map, a path through the stars, routes he had never seen before. His eyes shot open. I see it, he whispered. The woman smiled faintly. Then follow it. Daniel pulled the ship into the path he saw, and the vessel obeyed with perfect grace. They weaved between asteroid fields, dived past broken moons, twisted through nebula clouds glowing like fur. The hunters roared behind them, firing blasts of light, but every shot missed. Daniel and the ship moved as one. Still, the chase did not end. The hunters were fast, too fast, ships from different factions, strange designs, clawing closer each time. Daniel's chest ached with the strain. He gasped, they won't stop, they'll run us to death. The woman placed her hand gently on his arm, her voice calm. Then we turn from prey into hunter. Daniel blinked at her. Hunter? We're outnumbered, outgunned. Her eyes glowed brighter. Not outbonded. Trust me. Daniel swallowed hard. His body burned with exhaustion, but he nodded. Together they pressed their hands to the console. Their hearts beat as one. The ship roared to life, weapons glowing like suns. The hunters fired again, but this time Daniel didn't dodge. Instead he felt the ship's will, strong and unshaken. He shouted in his mind, strike. Beams of pure energy shot from the hull, cutting through two of the pursuers in seconds. The rest scattered in shock. Daniel gasped for breath, his chest pounding with the ship's fire. The woman whispered, see? You are no longer running, you are commanding. But more ships appeared on the edge of the screen, fleets now, their numbers growing like a storm. Daniel's victory felt hollow. His voice cracked. There's too many, we can't fight them all. The woman's gaze softened, though her voice carried steel. Then we must find allies. But remember this, your bond makes you more than a fugitive, it makes you a symbol, and symbols can shake galaxies. Daniel's heart raced. He had wanted freedom, but now he was something else, something hunted, something feared, and perhaps, something destined. Hook ending. The chase across the stars had begun, and Daniel knew it would never end until he decided who he truly was, the hunted, or the hunter.
The new destiny. Blasters lit up the starport, guards shouted, merchants screamed, chaos exploded around Daniel and the alien woman. The older man who had offered freedom stepped back, his smile gone, his eyes cold with hunger. "Take them alive," he ordered. Daniel grabbed the woman's hand. The bond inside him flared like fire. He could feel the ship calling from the docking bay, roaring awake. He pulled her close and whispered, "Run." Together they sprinted through the crowded hall, shots of energy tearing past them. People dove for cover. Alarms blared. Daniel's heart hammered as he dragged her forward. His chest burned, every pulse of the bond guiding him, showing him the path to the ship. Behind them, soldiers closed in. Heavy boots echoed, metal clanged, but Daniel refused to stop. The woman kept pace, her glowing eyes sharp. "They will not let us leave," she warned. Daniel smirked through the fear. "Then we won't ask for permission." They burst into the docking bay and the ship loomed ahead, glowing faintly as if waiting only for them. The ramp lowered before they even reached it. Daniel knew it wasn't just a machine, it was alive, answering his will. They stumbled aboard, and the ramp sealed shut. The woman pressed her hand against the wall, and the ship roared with energy. "They've locked the bay doors," she said quickly. Daniel slammed his hand on the console. "Then break them." The ship answered at once, cannons firing, blasts of light ripping through the metal doors. The entire starport shook as alarms screamed louder. Enemy ships scrambled outside, engines blazing, ready to cut them off. Daniel sat in the captain's chair, sweat dripping down his face. His hands trembled, but his voice was steady. "You said together we can face anything. Prove it." The woman sat beside him, her silver skin glowing brighter than ever. She placed her hand on the cons. "Oh." He placed his hand beside hers. At once the bond surged through them both, stronger than it had ever been. The ship flew like lightning, breaking free of the starport. Enemy fighters chased, firing without mercy. But Daniel no longer doubted. He felt the ship's wings as if they were his own arms. He felt its shields as if they were his own skin. He felt its weapons like clenched fists ready to strike. He shouted inside his mind. Now, the ship obeyed. A storm of fire tore from its cannons, scattering the attackers. Some exploded in flames, others fled, but more arrived from the shadows of space, fleets of hunters hungry for the prize. The woman's voice rang in his ears, calm yet fierce. "Do not fear them. The galaxy may come against us, but the bond makes us stronger than them all." Daniel gritted his teeth, pushing every ounce of his will into the ship. The engines screamed, blasting forward, weaving through the storm. His voice cracked but steady. "Then let them come. We'll show them what this bond means." The ship moved with fury and grace, striking faster than the hunters could follow. Daniel felt no longer like a man running from fate. He was shaping it, carving it with fire and will. At last, silence returned. The hunters fell back, afraid. Daniel slumped in his chair, breathing hard. The woman placed her hand gently on his arm, her eyes warm for the first time. "You chose me. You chose this path. Do you regret it?" Daniel met her glowing gaze, a tired smile on his lips. "No, I don't. I thought I bought only a ship, but I found you. And maybe I found myself too." The bond pulsed between them, strong, unbroken. The ship hummed with power, as if ready to carry them across endless stars, hook-ending. Daniel was no longer just a man, no longer just a captain. He was bound to her, to the ship, and to a destiny that would shake the galaxy. And this was only the beginning.